Hey everyone, welcome to Invasive Species, the series where we run Kanto mons in Hoenn and Hoenn mons in Kanto. This is our second versus episode of the series and the first to take place in Hoenn, and I'm pretty excited about this one. Nidoqueen and Nidoking are pretty great, but who reigns supreme here in Pokemon Ruby? We're going to start with Nidoqueen, but we'll cut to Nidoking periodically. Before we get into the brass tacks, just a quick recap of the rules for the Invasive Species series, though you can find these in greater detail in the description. Only one Pokemon in battle, Nidoqueen and Nidoking in this case. We run on max IVs. We choose the nature, ability if applicable, the hidden power type, and a single egg move for each Pokemon running in this series. Cool? Cool. Now, let's get into it. Starting with Nidoqueen's base stat total. With a base stat total of 505, our stats are allocated pretty evenly with a mild emphasis on HP and attack. Nidoqueen is a bit bulkier than Nidoking and a bit slower, and considering that the Pokemon champion is primarily a physical attacker, sans Metagross mostly, this could prove to be advantageous for the Queen. What about her level up moves? Because both Nidoqueen and Nidoking are stone-based evolutions, their move pools are extremely shallow, one might say. However, Nidoqueen gaining access to Body Slam at level 23 is pretty awesome. It's a base 85 power normal type move with a 30% chance to cause paralysis. A double kick will be useful against Watson for sure too, and Roxanne, as well as being part ground type to avoid the former's annoying spam of Thunder Wave. However, Nidoqueen makes up for this moveset with an amazing assortment of TMs to choose from. Man, we've got a lot of tools at our disposal. We have coverage for everything, with us only lacking in a Psychic type move. Same type Earthquake after the 7th gym is going to be phenomenal too. Shadow Ball will be great for Phoebe as well, especially since it's physical in Generation 3. As for Nidoqueen's egg moves, they're not great per se, but I do like Focus Energy. Of the ones available to us, I think it'll be the most useful for our Regal protagonist. Only other one I think might have been a passable choice is Charm, but Focus Energy multiplying our critical hit chance is for sure going to be useful. Combined with Double Kick, it might get us by Roxanne at a decent level, as we don't have anything super effective for her otherwise. And speaking of Rustboro's gym leader, we're going to cut straight to it. We battle some trainers along the way, and due to how powerful we are, especially in the early game, it's a pretty quick hike to her gym. We'll be battling her at level 15 with Nidoqueen, and while I do believe we could defeat her at a lower level, this XP is actually us working towards obtaining Body Slam. I don't expect either of Roxanne's Pokemon to deal much damage at all. Plus, if they use Tackle, there's a chance for Poison Point to proc, and that would be nice. In case you don't know, Poison Point has a 30% chance to activate when the enemy uses a move that makes contact, which poisons the Pokemon. Poison deals 1/8 of the mon's total damage each turn. As for Roxanne herself, the strat is simple. Set up with Focus Energy and just double kick our way to victory. We deal super effective damage to both members of her team, and even with their great physical defense, they're just not gonna last long. A case in point, the battle is already over. Now, we're going to battle some trainers en route to Brawley, including the ones at Slateport, because I do want Body Slam before we fight him. I just don't think that Scratch is going to cut it for that gym. We are in the medium slow level up group, so we gain XP pretty fast for the early game. And because Pokemon Ruby Sapphire is the perfectly balanced game, you can get stuff like rare candies and full restores right out of the gate with your Zigzagoon pickup army. And I say that because we're level 22, and then when we get to Brawley, use a rare candy, level 23, learn Body Slam, and we should be good to go. That hour 4 minutes is a bit slow for what we are, but we should be going real fast going forward. As he sends out Machop, obviously we're going to lead with Body Slam, and that damage, real nice. Almost a one-shot there. Bulk Up's not really going to save this from being a two-shot, and it'll cause Brawley to waste a Super Potion, so cool. We paralyze Machop, take it out with a follow-up Body Slam, and then as Makuhita comes out, one shot with a critical hit. Love to see it. And now for the Cycling Road rival, we're going to be battling Marsh Stomp, and I thought that would be the best starter for us to fight because Grovyle will deal neutral damage with Absorb and Leaf Blade outside of the Weather Institute. As a Poison Ground type, we're going to take super effective damage from Water Gun and Mud Shot, and Marsh Stomp gets the same type attack bonus from both of those. And Torch Hit Combustion's fire typing just made no sense for what we're using. Brendan sends out Shrooms, not a big deal. We paralyze it off the Body Slam, it loses its turn, and down it goes. Excellent start. Now we're going to take a chance and set up Focus Energy because, oh, there's Bide. Looks like that paid off. So we're going to spam Focus Energy a little bit until Bide wears off and then take it out. We go for Body Slam, no crit, decent damage, and we take about a 4th from Mud Shot, so good thing that didn't crit, and thankfully we are still faster. And we're good, cause last is Numa, we go for Body Slam, no crit needed, one shot. Next up is Watson, the electric-type gym leader, and typically he's very annoying with his Thunder Wave spam, but as part ground type, we don't have to worry about that. That said, every member of his team does have Sonic Boom and Supersonic on the Magnemite and Magneton, so I wouldn't call it free, but it should be simple none the same. He leads off with Magnemite, not that big of a deal. We can set up Focus Energy, and unfortunately we do get hit by a 55 accuracy Supersonic. We hit ourselves, we take a Sonic Boom, we're still confused. We hit ourselves again, we get hit by Sonic Boom, our Oranberry procs bringing us to 41 health. We are not confused this time, and take out the Magnemite. As Voltorb comes out, we are still confused, and what you know, we hit ourselves again. Voltorb goes for a rollout. Interesting choice, because Self-Destruct would have won Watson the fight there, because he still has Magneton. Oh well, more for us. As Magneton comes out, we deal quite a bit of damage with Double Kick. Sonic Boom brings us to 7, but no longer confused, we finish off Magneton with Double Kick. So even with some pretty wretched luck, we were able to defeat Watson on the first try. As Nidoqueen makes her way to Mount Chimney to fight Maxie, let's go ahead and tune into Nidoking here and talk about him a little bit. Here's his base stat total, same as Nidoqueen, but we have a focus in attack rather than our defensive stats. And we are a little bit faster, that's pretty cool. Checking out our level up move list here, and we have Thrash over Body Slam. Definitely prefer Body Slam. Thrash is a little bit stronger, lasts multiple turns, but it can cause confusion. Well, not can, it does, upon the end of its duration. The TMs are pretty much the same as Nidoqueen, which is great because we have equally great coverage. But what sets Nidoking apart, aside from having Peck as a starting level up move, which is kind of nice for the early game, is this egg move list here. We get Confusion, which is a massive, massive advantage for the early game. And this got me thinking, I'm like, you know what, because we have a Psychic type move for the early game, which is good for Roxanne and really great for Brawly, what do you say we try and run Nidoking on minimum battles, at least for a while? It's probably not going to be able to go the whole 9 yards on minimum battles, but for the early game, with this egg move, I think that's the case. So after we catch our little Zigzagoon pickup army, we're going to make our way there to the best of my ability, and fight only the trainers that we have to fight, which should be the Magma Grunt inside of Rustboro Forest. That'll be even easier than usual, because we have Double Kick, which is super effective against the Poochyena. We will have to watch out for spinners, and I'm not the best at avoiding them, and we'll probably take a couple of resets there just in case. I don't count resets in these runs, mostly because spinners are a real pain. Even if you just walk past them, they can always just turn at the most inopportune moment and spot you. And because Body Slam is a way better move than Thrash in my opinion, I'm not exactly clamoring to get that move. I'm sure we will find at least one use for it in a mandatory battle, or even an optional battle, because it is still a strong move, but man, I prefer Body Slam so much more. And yeah, look at that, we're already at Roxanne, so let's see if this minimum battles is actually going to work out for us. A turn to when we set up Focus Energy, and Rock Tomb is doing about 1/4 of our health. That's not good. Confusion doesn't crit, but it confuses. 10% chance of that happening. We deal awesome, awesome damage with Double Kick as it hits itself, but it does snap out of Confusion right here. Missed Rock Tomb though, so that's nice. Roxanne will use a potion, that's one less for Nose Pass. She heals, 2 crit Double Kicks take it down. And defeating Geodude at level 14 gives us not 1, but 2 level ups. We're now level 10, about halfway to 11. Nose Pass's Rock Throw does very little. Double Kick does okay damage. Poison Point procs after tackle, 1 critical Double Kick and a second non-critical brings it to a sliver, and Poison Point finishes off Nose Pass. That was awesome. I wish more of my battles were that lucky. And knowing that we were able to do minimum battles on Nidoking, Nidoqueen probably could have too, but again, I wanted to get Body Slam, so fighting trainers along the way felt like the right play. But we're maintaining course with the minimum battles here against Brawly. We have Confusion and Peck, 2 super effective moves against his team. Confusion and Peck leave Machop just out of healing range. Well, it would have, but Poison Point proccing, I mean, I guess Brawly wasted the super potion there. Poison Point also helps us defeat Machop, so we got a little streak going there too. So we're going to keep laying in with Confusion. We get brought to about 22 health from Makuhita, and then Knockoff causes Poison Point to proc. What is that? What do we have here, like 3 for 4 there? Now that we've conquered 2 gyms on minimum battles, Nidoking has quite the lead here. However, the Cycling Road rival is notoriously difficult in solo challenges, and we're going to be kinda underleveled for this fight. Still, check it out as we clock in our time. 50 minutes, still sub 1 hour. That's awesome. Now, May leads with Shrooms just like Brendan in the other one. We go for Peck and don't even deal half damage, and we're paralyzed by Stun Spore. Yeah, this is gonna be a disaster. There's Leech Seed, and although Shrooms is gonna go down, we're kinda doomed. And because we are paralyzed, we are slower than Marshtomp, and getting a little bit of revenge for Nidoqueen's run, it goes for Bide, knowing that it's faster. And yeah, we're gonna totally lose this fight now, unless we get super lucky. Bide, Leech Seed, Water Gun, bye-bye, yes, yeah, we gotta go level up. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go to the Trickmaster's house, clear it out, get the rare candy, and then come back. And I figure while I'm at it, might as well clear out some of the trainers in the area as well. RIP Minimum Battles, it was a cool little early game achievement. We go for Confusion, deal decent damage, Cherry Berry cures our Stun Spore. Alright Thrash, don't let me down now. Alright, they did over half to Marshtomp, Mudshot does a good deal to us, and Thrash ends after we take out Marshtomp. Absolutely perfect. And for Numel, we'll just spam Confusion and win the fight. As for Watson, I'm thinking the exact same strategy we used as Nidoqueen should work just fine here. We are offensively a little bit stronger, so this should go even smoother. And I gotta say, we have an excellent start here to punctuate that point. A single use of Double Kick is enough to take out the Magnemite. Next is Voltorb, but it goes down to a critical Double Kick. And for Magneton, no need to set up Focus Energy, just a couple uses of Double Kick, and down it goes. Because we didn't have the worst luck ever in that fight, that battle went way smoother. I guess that shows how easy Watson should be when you're playing as a part ground type, or mono ground type, whichever. Though I don't think you'd have a mono ground type normally at this point in the game, but you know what I mean. So we're gonna keep going with Nidoking and go to Mount Chimney with him first. Having to fight a Mightyena, a Golbat, and a Camerupt, I think we should be alright. With Intimidate, Double Kick does about half, and we get hit by Sand Attack, set up Focus Energy. Bite does not too much damage. We missed, but Poison ticks. Maxie goes to heal. And I have to say, we are missing way too much for a single Sand Attack. As Camerupt comes out, we miss Secret Power, hit a weak Ember. It tanks Secret Power pretty well and then finishes us off with Magnitude. It's going to be one of those Maxie battles this run, I see. Alright then, let's go ahead and play the Sand Attack slots, shall we? Here on this attempt, as we land Double Kick, Mightyena goes for Bite right away, so at least no worries about accuracy for the time being. And a crit for good measure. Against Camerupt, Secret Power, Focus Energy. Secret Power, we get crit by Magnitude but survive. That's because it was Magnitude 5. As for Golbat, we'll switch to Confusion, and with Wing Attack's damage, unless we get crit, we should outmuscle it, and we do. Very nice. Now, Flannery's up next, and we could teach Dig, but I prefer having that as a field move, so we're going to try and muscle through this fight without it. Besides the Torkoal, I can't see this fight being hard in any other way. Turn 1, we go for Secret Power, and don't take it out in one hit. I'm surprised by that, and... Wait, Overheat makes contact? Since when? That's kind of interesting, I never knew that. Slugma 2 gets confused, but we get crit by Flit. Wow, I deserve that for saying only Torkoal was going to be hard in this fight. You know, I never thought I'd see a Slugma KO Nidoking, but that's the magic of Invasive Species, baby. And 2 Nat 20s to confirm that critical hit. Well, we do make it past the Slugma, that's cool, and that damage against Torkoal is pretty bad. Maybe I should have used Dig for this fight. Oh well, too late now. Still, I don't think we would need Dig to get by this fight. We just need to have an ample opportunity to set up Focus Energy now. Now, the thing about Flannery and Ruby Sapphire is she has some seriously wonky AI sometimes. Like, sometimes she just won't attack. She'll go for Light Screen, a Sunny Day, and then miss with Smog, when she should be using Flamethrower and Overheat with Sunny Day active. I like her as a gym leader, but in Ruby Sapphire, I really feel like she went to the school of Blaine. All she's missing out on is using super potions on full health Pokemon. Case in point, Slugma 2 sets up Light Screen against all 0 of our special attacks. As Torkoal comes out, we paralyze it off of Secret Power, very nice, and on the second turn, it loses its turn. Light Screen wears off, and we crit. That must be the reason why that happened, right? Don't worry, Flannery, you are way better in Emerald. Still kudos to her for holding us back a little bit. As Nidoking makes his way to Norman, the 5th gym, let's go back to Nidoqueen and see how she measures up against Maxie. I am curious if Nidoqueen's bulk is going to help it out more in this fight, at the expense of its lesser attack when compared to Nidoking. And she got Body Slam over Secret Power, so she might hit a little harder. And of course, as Mightyena comes out, we get hit by Intimidate. I go for Double Kick, contrary to what I just said. Mightyena goes for Bite right away. No Poison Point, but we do take out Mightyena with the follow-up. Very nice. Next up, Maxie sends out Camerupt. We go for Body Slam, deal just under half, and Camerupt responds with Focus Energy, so we gotta be careful. Body Slam brings camera up to a sliver, magnitude 8, does crit, did use focus energy, so that is to be expected. Still, yikes. We should be okay for this fight, though. Case in point, Mighty Enda goes the exact same way, down to not getting hit by Sand Attack. That's very nice. We trade Body Slam and Ember, and then finish off camera up with a critical Body Slam on turn 2. Golbat's also a crit, and a one-shot. So, against Flannery, we set up Focus Energy, get hit by Overheat, and it gets poisoned off a Poison Point. How did this happen again? Slugma 2 does set up Sunny Day after being healed, but we take it out with a crit. Still, not liking that Sunny Day. Out comes Torkoal. We deal half with a critical Body Slam. And thanks to Sunny Day powering up Overheat, we are finished off. And well, at this rate, I think we're due for yet another game of playing roulette RNG with Flannery here, hoping for a similar outcome as Nidoking got. Don't forget that I ran Nidoqueen first, so I didn't use Dig here. But considering how much damage Overheat deals on its own, and the fact that Dig is a 2-turn move, that gives Slugma, both of them, each a turn to set up Sunny Day. Now, Dig in Generation 3 has 60 base power with the same type of attack bonus that would jump up to 90. Super effective would make that base 180 power. I mean, it would definitely one-shot the Slugmas, but Torkoal's defense is really darn good, and we're not that much higher leveled than it. So could it be a 2-shot? Yeah, maybe. Probably. Almost certainly with Soft Sand, but again, I prefer Dig as a field move. That way I don't have to waste time on buying escape ropes and stuff like that. We would replace it with a TM for Earthquake once we get access to it, anywho. Hey, check out that awful damage roll on Slugma. I guarantee you that was the worst one, like 1 out of 16 bad. We do survive Overheat, and we don't take nearly as much damage as I thought we would. Interesting. And instead of finish us off, Flannery goes for Body Slam, and we take it out thanks to Poison Point. Great job, Flan. Now, as they race over to Norman and beyond, we're going to continue following Nidoqueen for a time. Norman has 2 slacking and a Vigoroth, leading off with 1 slacking, and look at that, right away. Facade does decent damage, and it gets poisoned. That's actually kind of bad because Facade acts like Guts, as in when the Pokemon is burned, poisoned, or paralyzed, Facade will deal 50% more damage, and slacking does get the same type of attack bonus from it. Vigoroth has no trouble at all. Slacking too, though, that's a bit of serious business. Thanks to its ability True, we're able to just squeak out a first try victory, courtesy a good old double kick. I'm legitimately surprised that we did that on our first try, but I definitely don't mind that all the same. We'll make our way to the Weather Institute, clean the place out, and then we'll go battle the rival that I almost never talk about because he's so easy at this point in the game. Even with rain to power up his Marsh Stomp Stab Water Gun, yeah, we'll be alright. And before we came this way, I went ahead and did Watson's little fetch quest to get that free TM24 for Thunderbolt. Definitely gonna need that for the next gym. Oh, hi, Winona. Ha ha ha. What a story. She leads off with Swallow. It goes for Double Team. We go for Thunderbolt. That evasion boost does not matter. One shot, get out of here. As Pelipper comes out, we set up Focus Energy and, ironically, get brought to half health from a critical Water Gun. Don't need the crit for Pelipper, though. It is 4 times weak to Thunderbolt. Next up, Winona opts to send out Skarmory, which is not really a big deal because it is also a one-shot with Thunderbolt. Last up is Altaria. We go for Body Slam, get the Paralysis on the first turn. Very nice. It goes for Dragon Dance. And it will continue to do so because it's trying to get faster than us or one-shot us with Earthquake, which is possible due to us being part Poison type. After that Hyper Potion, we crit with Thunderbolt to bring it to 2/3. Body Slam seals the deal. Anybody else remember that song? Seal the deal. I used to hear that song a lot when I worked at Rock and Roll Sushi. Now, in preparation for Tate and Liza, we could go get Shadow Ball, which we're going to do that from Mount Pyre anyway because I want Shadow Ball for Phoebe. But for Tate and Liza, I'm thinking that we're actually going to bust out our hidden power, which is Steel type. You may recall from our TM move list that we can learn Iron Tail. However, Iron Tail is locked behind Meteor Falls, and we need Waterfall to access where it is. That's not going to do much good for us. Plus, Shadow Ball, you can only get the TM once in this game. Hidden Power you can buy over and over, so I feel like that's the right play. We'll see. And it's been a minute, so what do you say we check our time? We are clocking in at 3 hours, 29 minutes. That's not bad, honestly. We ain't catching Pinsir, but we might be able to sub 5 hours. Now, I have Meryl as our little partner buddy because it knows Defense Curl. Won't affect the fight in any way. And speaking of affecting the fight, a critical Hidden Power Steel one-shotting Lunatum, that'll affect this fight. Solrock sets up Sunny Day, a very interesting choice. We lay into it with Hidden Power Steel and it attacks us with Psychic, so And we have another partner buddy here who survives the battle against Tate and Liza. I'm not running Marl, though, because Marl is a Johto mom, not Kanto or Hoenn. Still very cool that our little buddy was able to survive. And as we make our way to Groudon, this is the exact moment where Maxie went, it's Maxen time and Maxenberged all over the place. So for that, we are going to need Earthquake for this fight. Well, maybe, I don't know. Well, it'll definitely help against Camerupt. Earthquake does over half the Mighty and we get hit by Scary Face. Maxie heals, we go for Earthquake, and then Mighty hits Takedown, poisons itself off a Poison Point, and takes itself out. I mean, I feel like Poison Point is working harder on some of these fights than I am. Camerupt is part Fire type, so getting one shot by Earthquake, no surprise there. As Crobat comes out, it is faster due to Scary Face, although it would probably outspeed us all the same. It takes a lot of damage off of Thunderbolt. Maxie heals with a very outdated Super Potion, proving once again that there are graduates of the School of Blaine here in Hoenn. I like to think that Gen 3 Blaine is very ashamed of his performance in the OG days. That's why he's typically the hardest fight here in Invasive Species for the Mons running through Kanto. Alright, we got one more badge to get, and Wallace I'm a little bit worried about. We are weak to his entire team after all. And their Sea King has Rain Dance, which will power up their water moves even more. Well, gotta say though, we start off very strong by going for Earthquake, outspeeding Love Disc and one-shotting it. Brick Break one-shot Cilio. Earthquake one-shot Sea King, alright. We tank Ice Beam and two-shot Milotic, all that's left is Whiscash. We didn't get crit by Whiscash and survived, so we're good. Once Wallace is done drowning this poor thing in Hyper Potions, we can go ahead and move on. And we'll go ahead and beat up Wally, as we always do, because he's mandatory, and it's fun anyway. And once we get to the league with May and her Nidoqueen, we're gonna go back to Brendan and his Nidoking as he takes on Norman. And as we make preparations to battle him, we'll check our time, 2 hours and 2 minutes before the 5th badge. That's really good, actually. As he sends out his first Slacking, we'll lead off with Double Kick, and that looks to be doing just under half. Facade does a lot more to us. We'll use Focus Energy on the Truant turn, and we're faster, so Slacking never has a chance to attack. As Vigoroth comes out, it does survive, hits us with Slash, and gets poisoned. This is pretty great because Norman will heal Vigoroth. Much prefer him to use the potion here as opposed to Slacking number 2. Speaking of, Slacking 2 brings us to 6 health. And that's even worse because we don't take out the Slacking Norman heals, we go for Double Kick. Lucky for us, Slacking's loafing around, so now we can finish it off. That was very close. Way closer than I would have liked, but a first try is a first try. And just like we did with Nidoqueen, I went ahead and did Watson's little optional quest to get TM24 for Thunderbolt. If it was that good for Nidoqueen, Nidoking being slightly stronger, it's gonna be even better here. We can also go to the Sunken Ship and get the TM for Ice Beam. I don't think we're gonna need it just yet though. If we need it, which I'll probably grab that for Drake anyway, we can fly there after we defeat Winona. I gotta say too, in terms of routing, the Hoenn Mons running through Kanto have a massive advantage, being able to get access to fly as early as the 3rd gym, bearing in mind that you can skip Surge and Erica for quite a while. And as we get ready to battle Winona, we make the usual preparations, all that good stuff, and just know that because Pickup picks up proteins inexplicably, I've been feeding those to Nidoking and Nidoqueen. Also, 2 hours, 39 minutes, that minimum battles push really is giving Nidoking the advantage. As we get ready to battle for the Feather Badge, things mostly go the same here, except we miss a few Thunderbolts thanks to Double Team, but we take it out with a crit, cool. Pelipper is obviously a one-shot. Skarmory is also a one-shot. And just like with Nidoqueen, we go for Secret Power instead of Body Slam and paralyze Altaria right away. A Double Kick will deal just enough damage to keep it out of healing range. We'll follow up and take out the Altaria. And we discussed the Tate and Liza strategy for Nidoqueen. It's going to be the same as Nidoking. Same reasoning too. We want Shadow Ball for later on in the run. Hidden Power Steal will be more than enough, and even if we didn't have Hidden Power Steal, I would just teach Shadow Ball and it would suffice. As we lead off in this tag team action here, unfortunately Hidden Power Steal does not one-shot Lunatone cause no crit, still a lot of damage though. Our buddy goes down, Lunatone goes down, and Solrock deals quite a bit of damage to us with Psychic. It might be a lot, but we deal more damage, once again defeating Tate and Liza on the first try. And a little over 24 minutes into the video, I just remembered that I failed to realize that I didn't tell you guys which nature I took for both Nidos. I went with Dotty nature, more attack, less special defense. And I figured giving them the same nature would make it more apples to apples, you know what I mean? And just like with Nidoqueen, we have Earthquake on Nidoking. That's going to be our strongest attack for the rest of the game. Loving that. And you know what else I love? No, not that damage with Earthquake, though great, but getting hit by Swagger and having a Person Berry, so we not only undo Intimidate, but we now have +1 to our attack. Thanks, Maxie. Now, we don't one-shot Crobat, and we get hit by Confuser, and we still damage it. Maxie uses the goated heroic super potion, but unfortunately, it's just to no avail. I can't imagine why. Alright, Wallace, you're up. Luvdisc, you go down. We go for Earthquake against Cilio, and it survives with a Sliver. And that critical Water Pulse did 110 damage to us. Yeah, we might lose this attempt. Still, after Wallace heals, we take out the Cilio, and fortunately, we do one-shot Seaking. As my Lotic comes out, Earthquake deals great damage, but not enough. Takes us out with Water Pulse. Well, I wasn't expecting to lose that, but we are a much lower level than Nidoqueen, so it stands to reason that we're not going to deal as much damage. And hey, that crit's pretty nice, although we're going to need a second one for Whiscash to win. We deal a lot of damage, but just not enough. Okay, so we need to crit my Lotic, and we need to crit Whiscash to win. Those aren't terribly bad odds, especially with Focus Energy at our disposal. And I have to say, this contest has not turned out the way I thought it would. I thought that they would be a lot more even. Still, though, we have yet to get Nidoking to the league. Now, if this takes too many tries, I figure I can go ahead and hit level 50 just to get a bit more attack. That might make the difference. I'm no expert on things like damage rounding thresholds. I leave that to the guys who are way smarter with these games than I am. But considering that we're adamant, we were absolutely jacked with protein and already have a pretty good attack stat, one level might make the difference. Okay, as Luvdisc goes down, we'll set up Focus Energy on Cilio. I figure that's the safest bet. We already can one-shot Seaking and Cilio. What about critting my Lotic? Ah, thanks, game. And, well, rather than damaging us with Earthquake and potentially critting us, yeah, why not go for Amnesia? Just go the extra mile. Gotta really get on that Gen 3 love status bandwagon. Alright, and as we battle Wally, and spoilers, we win on the first try. I'm sure that's a real shock. I'm very sorry to you guys for that. Unlike this video, unsubscribe, because I spoiled a very, very epic fight for you. Speaking of epic fights, though, the best are yet to come, and once we defeat Wally here, we're gonna go ahead and switch back to Nidoqueen and see how she does going through the Elite Four and the Champion. Alright, as we get back from running our errands, making the usual last-minute preparations, we clock in with Nidoqueen at 5 hours and 6 minutes. Before facing Sydney, we'll pop some rare candies, get to level 64, and then battle him. Let's see how this goes. Earthquake almost one-shots Mighty, and a Crunch does pitiful damage as Sydney heals. A combo of Brick Break and Body Slam take him down. We'll go ahead and set up Focus Energy against Shiftry here. He dodges a couple of strikes, but we do hit him and take him down to one hit. Sharpedo's down. Cacturn is not a one-shot. Hits us with Cotton Spore, but Sydney heals and we're still faster, so bye-bye. And thanks to Snatch, we're able to take out Absol, no problem. As we get ready for Phoebe, we'll go ahead and teach Shadow Ball. We got the TM for it from Mount Pyre. Hopefully we either one-shot or deal a lot of damage. Dusclops is pretty bulky, so I wouldn't be surprised. No one-shot but Future Sight. Oh, thank Criminy. Ah, damage range, interesting. Sableye and the first Bayonet are one-shots with Earthquake. Dusclops 2 hits us with Confuse Ray, but we got a Person Berry, and it's a two-shot. We finish it, and Bayonet 2 is also one-shot with Earthquake. Okay, next up is Glacia. She could be scary. She is super effective against us. Her whole team is. But we do have a bit of a level lead on her. Well, starts off great. Glalie 1, one-shot by Brick Break. We'll set up Focus Energy as Cilio 1 goes for Hail. We one-shot Cilio. The second one goes down to a Sliver, and there's Blizzard. Oh, well, that was a way to end our first try streak. So after having lunch and remembering that I have the White Herb, we're gonna go ahead and fight Sydney again. Because, I mean, what else are we gonna do, right? Thanks to not worrying about Intimidate, he's a complete sweep. Super easy. And as we go after Phoebe yet again, you guys will be very happy to hear that we are not a victim to the Curse Lottery here. We take a little bit of damage, but this is just a flesh wound. I always like runs where we don't have to worry about Sydney or Phoebe. We'll go ahead and pop some more rare candies before we battle Glacia because we don't want that damage range on Cilio too. Turn 1 against the first Glalie, we set up Focus Energy. She goes for Hail. Perfect. A Brick Break one-shots. Out comes Cilio 1, also a one-shot. Out comes Cilio 2, and not sure if we one-shot naturally, but a critical hit, that's gotta feel pretty cathartic for our lady here. Glalie 2's down, and Walrein? Oh, that's a critical hit. Love to see that. Focus Energy really coming in handy here. What a great egg move. It's a shame that she doesn't get it natural like Nidoking, because that is another advantage Nidoking had going for him. As for Drake, we have the TM for Ice Beam. We're gonna slap that on and completely obliterate his team. Now, before you think I'm ruffling your feathers and spoiling it for you, 4 out of his 5 Pokemon are double weak to Ice. They take 4 times damage, and they're his stronger Mons. I'm sorry, Drake, you're just really bad at your job here in Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. With the addition of Kingdra to your forces in Emerald, you are way better. As we get ready for the champion, we're gonna go ahead and teach Flamethrower over Ice Beam because we need something for Skarmory. We've been having to fight him with Return lately, so having a move like Flamethrower, a very welcome addition. And we're gonna take a heck of a gamble here, replacing Brick Break with Return. I just hope that we can one-shot Claydol. And I think we should be good to go against the champion here. We are super effective against most of his team. Bear in mind that much of his team is also super effective against us. Yes, multiple Earthquake users, Claydol getting the same type attack bonus from it. Armaldo has Water Pulse too, so that's fun. Now, Skarmory will never go for Toxic. We can set Focus Energy, goes for Spikes, perfect. Flamethrower one-shot, Skarmory out comes Claydol. Claydol's a two-shot, thankfully no Reflect, and Aggron's double weak to Earthquake, yeah, bye. Armaldo's a one-shot with Earthquake, as is Metagross. Cradilly is not, and we get confused. Steven heals, we don't hit ourselves. Steven heals, we don't hit ourselves. Just to change things up in this healing loop, we're gonna go for Flamethrower and then follow up with Earthquake. Bye-bye, Cradilly. Hello, Championship. That was really fun, but I can't help but feel a little disappointed in Nidoqueen. I thought she'd be able to do that at a lower level. The fact that we didn't one-shot Cradilly means that we got very lucky against Armaldo. So this feels like the level that we should have been for this fight. Still though, Nidoqueen was able to do the no-save gauntlet. That's pretty cool. She ends off at level 74. As you get ready to clock in that time here, what about Nidoking? How's he gonna do? Has he been leveling up too, or not? We're about to find out. Our time for Nidoqueen is 5 hours and 24 minutes. Alright, hail to the king, baby. Learning from the past mistake, we're gonna slap on the White Herb right away. We're at 4 hours and 32 minutes. That is pretty darn awesome. Now, I know we're gonna have to pop our rare candies at some point, but I have to try fighting Sydney at our current level. We're about to level up anyway. A case in point, Mightyena goes down in one hit. We're level 55. Thanks, bro. Shift Tree is not a one-shot, but doesn't really matter. Sydney's gonna heal. We're gonna take it out lickety-split. And you can see just how important White Herb is here. With no attack drop at level 55, Nidoking just sweeps Sydney's entire team. Now, I'm thinking about using the rare candies here before Phoebe, but I'm so tempted. It's so tantalizing to see how well we'll do against Phoebe at our current level. We're definitely going to need to use them before Glacia, though, so let's enjoy this glory while it lasts. Shadow Ball Future Sight. Oh man, loving that start. And just like with Nidoqueen, Phoebe heals Dusclops, it goes down, and we one-shot Sableye with Earthquake. Bane, it's a one-shot with Shadow Ball. And as Dusclops 2 comes out thanks to our Person Bear, we're able to take it out in 2 shots without any problems. And as cool as it was to take out the first 2 Elite Four members at level 55, yeah, with Glacia, no chance that's gonna happen. Maybe if we had Bulk Up or something, or Swords Dance, we could do it, but we don't. And because Nidoking is not quite as bulky as Nidoqueen, I'm thinking that we're going to be using some Sunny Day strats here just to cut down on the damage from Surf, and that also reduces Blizzard's accuracy to 50%, so no unlucky crits for us. So against Glalie number 1, we'll go ahead and set up Sunny Day, and it goes right for Ice Beam. Well, okay, well, so much for that then. We one-shot it with Brick Break, we also one-shot the first Cilio with Brick Break, and the second one. Oh, and Glalie 2 goes down in 1 hit too, that's nice. Unfortunately, Sunny Day wears off, there's Surf, and down we go. 3 tries later, I'm still committed to going in against Sydney without our rare candies. I gotta say, pretty darn awesome that Nidoking is able to throw down against the Elite Four at level 55. I mean, again, we're not gonna maintain that course as you just saw because we got destroyed by Glacia. As we make our way to her, though, fighting Phoebe again for the 5th time, I cut past the 3 attempts where we failed. Just take my word for it that it didn't go that much better against Glacia. But what's really cool is just like with Nidoqueen, the first 2 aren't as bad, although our much lower level means that Phoebe can actually be a threat to Nidoking. And it's right around here where we get brought way lower in health than I would like to be, where I'm like, yeah, we should probably have just started off with rare candies and sped our way to Glacia, but hey. If we lose again, that's what we'll do. Sunny Day is still the strat for Nidoking. Don't forget, that special defense penalty from Naughty Nature, yeah, that's really hurting us a lot here. Even more than normal, due to our weakness to Water type, and Ice type, and their collective same type attack bonus. Now, I think it's better that we get rid of the first Glalie, that way we can set up on the first Cilio, Focus Energy, and then Sunny Day. And with Focus Energy set up, that's just going to ensure that one-shotting our way to Walrein happens. The critical hits along the way are very nice. And we have one more turn of Sunshine as we one-shot Walrein, so we didn't actually need it, but hey, it's better to have it than not have it, you know what I mean? And just like with Nidoqueen, we have the TM for Ice Beam. You saw how easy he was with Nidoqueen with a harder hitter in the form of the King here. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the team whose majority consists of Mons who are 4 times weak to Ice, yeah, it's gonna go swimmingly. Now, we know from the champion fight with Nidoqueen that Return is not gonna one-shot Claydol. It is rather bulky. We were very fortunate in that battle. Claydol just went straight for Earthquake, but it could go for Reflect anytime, and if that happens, we are in a fair bit of trouble. I probably should have kept Shadow Ball, but we'll see if that was a mistake getting rid of it or not. Either way, I'm very glad that after 5 tries, we were actually able to make it to the champion. We know what we need to do to get by Glacia, so if we lose here, getting back to the champion should not be a problem, barring we don't get unluckily crit with Blizzard, like we did with Nidoqueen. And just like with his Regal counterpart, we're going to lead off by using Flamethrower to get rid of Skarmory. Alright, there's Return on Claydol, and there's Reflect. Yep, should have kept Shadow Ball. Steven does heal Claydol, and we take it out, but our health is lower than I'd like. Aggron's a one-shot with Earthquake. Out comes Armaldo, also a one-shot. And I went for Flamethrower instead of Earthquake against Metagross, which was a terrible idea because, well, this cost us the fight, and in my mind I was like, well, it has much lower special defense, let's go for Flamethrower, even though I have Soft Sand on. Man, that was really, really frustrating to watch in editing because even if we didn't one-shot Metagross, it's like, I should have tried, right? And don't worry, as we see us going through the Elite Four with Nidoking again, just know that in between the attempt against the champion you just saw and the footage you're watching now, we got crushed by Glacia a couple of times. And honestly, I deserved it after that terrible play. But even then, I think if we had Shadow Ball against Claydol, that we still could have potentially won that fight. Reflect and tanking a same type Earthquake from Claydol was really the beginning of the end. And you saw how much damage Metagross did to our Nidoking. It almost took us off from the health that we were at. It just goes to show that pick a naughty nature, while that did give us better attack, that lacking special defense really, really hurts in the endgame. You might ask why I didn't take Adamant Nature instead. Well, because we're using special attacks a fair bit in this run, I didn't want a penalty to that. And I figured that physical defense was a lot more important for Steven, because his team, sans Metagross with Psychic, and Armaldo, I guess, with Water Pulse, are primarily physical attackers. I just find it kind of interesting that Nidoking, although it got here a lot faster, is having a lot more trouble with the Elite Four than Nidoqueen. I didn't show the other failed attempts because, I mean, this video is already getting pretty long anyway, and it's already a 2 runs in 1. But take my word for it, Glacia is very dangerous, as Nidoking and Nidoqueen as well. And speaking of Glacia, as we go ahead and make our way through her, you know who's not dangerous at all? Drake. That's very awesome. I always thought that his team was one of the worst designed ones in Pokemon Ruby because, I mean, he has some pretty strong mons. He's got Salamence, he's got 2 Flagon, which is pretty nice as well. But being that weak to Ice, if you have something with decent special attack and even like Aurora Beam same type, you're gonna destroy his team. We're not getting same type from Ice Beam, and we just, you know, it's a good night, Irene. He's already gone. So in preparation for the champion, of course, Flamethrower, we're gonna need that for Skarmory. But I'm thinking that we're going to go and just flat out get rid of Focus Energy. We don't need it for this fight, I don't think. And we don't care about Return at all. We can get a second TM for Return from Pacific-Log, just by the way. Judging by Return's damage against Claydol, Shadow Ball should almost certainly one-shot it. And if it doesn't, we have Brick Break to break Reflect. So is that going to make the difference? Is this change-up in our moves going to secure us victory? Well, against Skarmory, it's second verse same as the first. We don't one-shot, but we have Brick Break, down goes Reflect, down goes Claydol with Shadow Ball. Aggron is a total joke. And Armaldo is a range, that's interesting. Hey, at least Steven is getting rid of his full restores here. Okay, how about that Earthquake on Metagross? Yep, that's a one-shot, good to know. Well, I feel vindicated in talking down to myself a minute ago. Oh, and we keep hitting ourselves here, that's lovely. Oh, critical hit Giga Drain, that's great. But we snap out just in time and finish off Cradilly with Brick Break. I have to say, this 2-in-1 run did not go the way I expected. I didn't think that both Nidos would be in the 70s bracket, but I still had a lot of fun all the same, and you know, this got me wanting to do a little mini-series where I go through each mainstream game as the Nidos in a similar fashion to this. So to start us off, Nidoking here clocks in at a much lower level at level 70. Just barely too. Shame. Not only was it a lower level, it was also faster at 4 hours and 50 minutes. Man, that minimum battles rush at the beginning, that had a much more profound impact than I thought it was going to. That momentum stayed the course the entire run. Now, despite the fact that Nidoqueen is a higher level than Rattata, her performance against the Elite Four, not only was it a no-save like Rattata's, but being under 5 hours and 30 minutes, I'm gonna push Nidoqueen into the A tier, and Nidoking is a very easy S tier. Man, it makes me wonder who's gonna be able to beat Pinsir's record, level 58 and triple S tier at a 4 hour and 18 minute finish. Oh boy. Routes is next, that'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys back in Kanto. Take it easy.